Welcome back to another episode of Sports with the Z and a TI and Bryce alongside Taylor Lattimore. We are presented by Gozilla Media, sponsored by Mohawk Honda, Johnstone Supply in Troy, Saving Face Barbershop up in Saratoga Springs. We are going to finally have an episode that's under an hour. I can 100% confirm that we will have an episode under an hour because we only have NFL to talk about. We are going to get to NBA down the line, but I'm thinking maybe after Christmas. I don't know. Like,
season starts at Christmas.
Starts at Christmas, so that kind of makes sense. We might not have much baseball to talk about, so I don't know. And then obviously, as the new year gets closer, college football is going to pick up again, so it's not going to last long. But I do want to remind our listeners that the final month of 2021 is here, believe it or not, and that means the holidays are approaching, or, well, pretty much are here at this point. I mean, hell, Christmas is next week. Hard to believe. Make sure your home is safe and warm this season. Thanks to Johnstone Supply in Troy. The Goodman Furnaces are in stock. Goodman Furnaces are not only made in America, but they also have the perfect blend of efficiency, dependability for where you may live. Don't forget to clean out those air filters before your friends and family visit this season. Find out about the ways to purify your air in your home and to adjust your air filters before the big holiday events by connecting with Johnstone Supply in Troy. Visit them on 6th Ave in Troy from 8 to 5 p.m. or call them at 518-272-5922. Whether that is George, Tom, Kev, or James, the entire crew there will offer you the best recommendations for this season. Call them today to get the best advice on how to prepare your home for that snow and to change your boilers or furnace. Once again, call Johnstone Supply in Troy. Their number is 518-272-5922, or leave them a comment on facebook.com/Johnstone Supply Troy NY. And obviously, we were at the Gozilla Media Christmas party on Friday. It was a good time. Obviously, Johnstone Supply and Tom, they have a big say and are a big part of what Gozilla does. Thank you to Heineken and Hooters, of course, for giving us a damn good time as always. And it was a good night, and it was a good way to kick off the holiday season. And of course, the big topic there was the Gozilla playoffs. Obviously, we'll get to that. We'll get to.
Was it a big topic? I wasn't talking about it.
Yeah, because you're not in it. We'll get to that. I have a whole slew of things to say, and
you do.
Chet, I'm coming after you, just so you know.
He's been the best all year long, so
I don't give a shit. I beat him. And I'll beat him again in 2 weeks too when I see him in the championship if he makes it there. But obviously, another big talking point was the NFL and how wild this NFL season has been. And last week was not an exception to that. By the way, our picks, Taylor. We were both 10-4 last week, so you did not gain ground. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news to you. We both
I relatively know what I vaguely remember.
Well, we had who we picked. Our picks were pretty good. Obviously, if we were 10-4, we both had Carolina beating Atlanta. That did not happen. Yeah, we both had Baltimore beating Cleveland. Didn't have a Lamar Jackson injury on our bingo card, so we obviously did not get that right. That is right. And we both had Arizona beating the Rams last night. Can't predict COVID either. So that's right, exactly, Otis. Thank you. Here's my point. Yes. I had Pittsburgh on Thursday night beating Minnesota, so you had the difference there. And then and then San Francisco, Cincinnati, you had Cincinnati, I had San Francisco. And so that evened out. We were both 10-4. But let's talk about some of these games real quick, because I want to break down week 15 pretty significantly because I think that's where most of the storylines are. But let's start with the Monday night game, the Rams and the Cardinals, which, we both thought that was going to be the game of the week. It turned out to pretty much be the score doesn't really do the game justice.
It was
but it never felt that close to me.
Yeah. It kind of felt like the Cardinals were playing from behind the whole game, which I mean, essentially they were. But I think it was a good game though. It wasn't like I think the game of the week was probably Bills Bucks possibly because the way it ended yeah.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead,
for the
go ahead.
people that are watching YouTube right now, I'm gonna put up the banner. And for those that are not watching on YouTube, I will tell you what the banner reads. The AFC sucks, Taylor. The AFC is god awful. The Chiefs are just the best of it. The Bills are a bad football team. I'll say it again. The Bills are a bad football team. Whatever they had working last year, and do you remember at the beginning of the year when I said the Bills are my team that are going to come back? They're the regression team of the year for me. I mean, it just, to me, like, this should be a better football team. Josh Allen isn't having those fourth quarter winning moments like they would. They start slow. I mean, they were down 24-0. I mean, this game was done. They woke up, but
when you really look at it, I think the problem with Buffalo, and it's kind of obvious to me, it's obvious to most anyone who watches them, is they're so one-dimensional on offense.
They can't run the football.
Run the ball. Josh Allen should not be your leading rusher with 12 carries for 109 yards and a touchdown. I'm sorry. You got to get something going. You can't have Singletary and I know they went up against the Bucs, but it's not just the Bucs that stop them. Pretty much every team stops their run. If they have a good running game, they usually win the game because that's when they can, like, what little run game they have can carry the day in between the throws. But you can't have Josh Allen be the guy running and throwing for like 400 yards. It's too much on one guy.
Well, and here's the thing with the Bills. Like, their defensive line is so undersized. So when you face an offensive line and a powerhouse like Tampa, it really showed because I mean,
the Colts, to be honest.
Right. And the Colts did to them too. Allen, and on the offensive side of the ball, like, the Bills have so many holes on both sides of the line of scrimmage that it's really hindering what they do. Like, on the other side of the ball, it felt like Josh Allen was running for his life the entire time. And that's forcing him into bad decisions because of the pressure. He's not handling the pressure well. They can't run the football to take the pressure off Josh Allen. You can only throw the ball so many times. Look what happened 2 weeks ago against the Patriots. When, the elements were there, you need to run the football. You had to run the football. They could not do so effectively, and they put up a field goal. Like, this is the type of thing that the Bills are going to have to do come playoff time when the weather is not good, when it is cold out, when it is miserable, and you can't rely on 80-degree weather and throwing the football 40 times. That's not playoff football. That's not what's going to win you. Look at the teams that are having success this year and what they're doing offensively. Like, it's been a big shift. The Colts are running the ball. The Eagles are running the ball. The Patriots are running the ball. The Packers are running the ball. Right. And so this is like almost like a transition year in the NFL where teams are going away from this air raid, throw 40 times, Patrick Mahomes and the Josh Allen's. Now, like I said, the Chiefs are fine. I'm not so worried about it. I think the Chiefs are re-emerging as the best team in the AFC, which is not saying a lot, but
we'll get to it.
To me, whoever is running the ball the most is going to have more success these last couple weeks of the season heading into the playoffs. And the Bills are not that. The Bills are not a good football team. They are not. And the quicker you all can realize it, the better off you're going to be, because I told you all at the beginning of the year that they were going to be a regression team. And here they are. They're the final wild card spot right now. The AFC is loaded, by the way, with a bunch of mediocrity on the back end. The Bills are the 7th seed. Like, nobody really wants to win the AFC. Everybody's 9-4. The Bills come back next. Try again next year. You have to change some things on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think that, definitely change on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage. You just need to be tougher because, I mean, if you go back to their game, look at the last couple of games they've had. The Buccaneers, obviously a great run defense, and you're not going to be able to move the ball, so then you're forced to throw it with Josh Allen or have him run the ball, which is just not an efficient way to play. And I know that they ended up coming back, and they were, it was overtime. It was within, if they had gotten the ball first, who knows what would have happened, and maybe we have a different discussion. But the fact of the matter is they probably shouldn't have let them back into that game because they definitely had control of it the whole time. And then obviously we all know what happened in the Patriots game. The Patriots literally ran it down their throat, and the Bills couldn't answer on the back end.
The Colts did it too. I mean, teams are running against the Bills at will. And
then, the Saints game, the Saints are bad. The Bills beat the Saints.
Well, they didn't really have. I mean, they were throwing Tony Jones out there and Trevor Siemian. So
the Colts ran all over the Bills. We know the Colts are a power rushing team, basically, just down your throat all the time, all day long. And if it works, it works. And Jonathan Taylor is able to manhandle people. Bills, you beat the Jets. Good for you. Everyone does. And then they lost to the Jaguars, where the Jaguars were able to hold them.
Unless you're the Bengals when people have you as your suicide team. Then you don't beat the Jets. That's fine.
And then we go back to the game where, at least in my eyes, I really looked at it and I was like, oh, because they'd been winning up until that point, and then the Jaguars game. And that's when it was like, what just happened? What? The Bills lost the Jaguars 9-6? And then you go into that game and you dissect it just on the box score. And again, guess who led the team in rushing? Josh Allen with 5 rushes for 50 carries. And then above that,
you drafted Zach
23 yards between Singletary and Moss.
I mean, you drafted Zach Moss in the second round, and he's a healthy scratch like every other week. Matt Breida, you're trying to force feed Matt Breida. I mean, if you give Zach Moss the opportunity, he's not very good, but he's a good running back. Like he has had success.
Games. He's had some games,
and so has Singletary. So I don't understand this feel for them to not utilize that dynamic. I think it's a good 1-2 punch, and when you have Matt Breida leading the team in touches, it just it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you look at the stats, like Diggs' stats are good. Cole Beasley's stats are good, but they had to come back. Like it was all garbage time.
Against teams like the Washington, where they put up 43, or Texans, they put up 40. Chiefs, they put up 38, but when the Chiefs defense was playing terrible.
The Bills are one of those teams, like at the surface, like their record isn't great, but you're like, oh, well, they came back. They showed the good fight against the Bucs. No, this is not a good football team. Like they're just not good.
And I think the expectations that they had, like they shouldn't be a team that competes with the Bucs. Like they're supposed to be, and
losing Tre'Davious,
we picked to be in the AFC Championship game.
And Tre'Davious White. I by default picked him, but I didn't like that pick. You have him, and you were adamant about the Bills.
I thought that they would at least make it there, but we both picked the Chiefs to come out of the AFC.
I still think that's the case.
I
especially
still
with
think
Lamar.
It's a good point, but I still like the Patriots. But rookie quarterback can only take you so far in the playoffs.
It's kind of where I'm going. Like it's a younger team. Like I get it, I understand it, but let's the media. The media is really hyping the Patriots up a lot and shoving it down your throat
because they want the Patriots Buccaneers. That's what they're
obviously. So be realistic about.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes getting back to the Super Bowl for the 4th straight year would be a storyline as well. So I don't really know what the angle on that is.
Yeah, and then of course the Packers look good. That was a pretty easy win by them on Sunday night. The Bengals lost to the Niners. That was a pretty good game as well. Denver handled their business against Detroit. It's Detroit. The Giants are just horrible in every sense of the word. Losing to the Chargers. The Dallas Cowboys, Taylor. I want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. This is a team that, again, I feel like I told you so. I told you so. Like, yeah, they beat Washington 27-20, but guess what? This team's in trouble. Yeah, they might win the division because of the start that they had and the start that the other teams in the division had, but this team ain't going nowhere in a conference that has Green Bay, Tampa, Los Angeles, or Arizona. And let me tell you why. Dak Prescott got this big contract, was playing at an unworldly level last year before he got hurt. I mean, he really was at an MVP level. But now Dak Prescott is, I mean, he has 6 turnovers in the last 3 games. He had a crucial interception when they should really just be milking the clock. You were leading 24-0 at halftime, 27-8 entering the fourth quarter, held on to dear life for a 27-20 victory. I mean, this is a team that the offense is stagnant. They can't even rely on Ezekiel Elliott consistently. I mean, down the stretch, Corey Clement was running the clock out. Your defense was dominating Taylor Heineke / Kyle Allen for 3.5 quarters and then decided that it did its job and quit. I mean, outside of Micah Parsons, this team is, I don't know, man. Like the Cowboys are in trouble. They're 9-4. They're 3-0 in the NFC East and prime position to claim the division. So I don't want to say that they're not going to win the division. They probably are. It's just too late. But if this season, if it was more closer to October, I don't think this team would be, the way they're playing, would be winning the division and would be at risk of missing the playoffs. They have not been playing convincing football this past month and a half or so.
Oh yeah, Dak Prescott definitely doesn't look himself. You don't know if that's the injury. You don't know if that's, residual whatever from rehab and whatever else, or, hangover from getting paid. Any one of those things. The fact that, Tyron Smith limped off late in the third, so it's like he's been in and out. They haven't had a real consistency on the offensive line, and that has also affected Zeke. And the fact that they didn't have Tony Pollard in this game, and he was out with injury. They also said Zeke. It's so weird. McCarthy said that they took out Zeke because of an overabundance of caution when he wanted to go back in and he could have. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, at some point when Washington, who's one of the hottest teams in the last couple of weeks because they've been winning, starts charging back, maybe you should put running back that you paid.
And that's just it. This is like Mike McCarthy maybe holding back this Cowboys team, right? Because where is there not a sense? You have 2 teams breathing down your neck, pushing you for the division in Washington and Philly. You're letting one of those teams that I just mentioned come back. And you think you're good? Like you don't need your highest paid offensive weapon? Like you paid them. You didn't pay Ezekiel Elliott that contract to get 13 touches a game. You gave him that contract to give him 20, 25 touches a game. So
the fantasy team agrees with that. Like give the man the ball. Like let him eat. That's the whole thing. And if he can't handle it, then I don't know. You shouldn't have paid your running back. That's why you never pay running backs like that. But that is neither here nor there. And I'm scared about years down the line when we have to think about paying Jonathan Taylor, because that man is a beast and I love him and I will hold him tight right now. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think
it's a good win against Washington because of the fact that they were surging. Yeah, but they've won 3 in a row up until this point. I'm not sure 3 or 4, but they're a team that you can't disrespect, and I think they played them well for 3.5 quarters, and then they just kind of let the air out of the ball.
This Cowboys offense is broken. The running game is not working. Prescott had the 2 interceptions that I mentioned, and really he could have had about 3 to 4 more that could have been picked off if they weren't dropped. There's no rhythm. They scored 1 touchdown on 6 red zone trips. And the Cowboys have 4 games left. And if they want to be taken seriously compared to any of the other teams, they got to be better. And I hope they're not, because
but it comes down to it. I'm saying that it's a good win for them just because of the fact, in division, Washington was surging and hoping to try to, do something to overtake them or whatever. But in terms of the overall picture for the NFC, I totally agree with you that they are decidedly on the outside looking in as far as contenders go. I would take any of those top teams, Packers, the Bucks, the Cardinals, even the Rams over what the Cowboys are doing. And when it comes to the playoff time, I'm not betting on the Cowboys to get out of the first round. Are you kidding me? No. They're going to lose in the first round.
It's the same story every single year. I mean, seriously, we see this movie every year. They come out in September and October. Oh, the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? They're going to the Super Bowl. And here you are in December. How you feeling, morons?
I think they feel pretty good at 9-4, but they can't feel good about their futures going forward, competing with the big dogs in the NFC. The top of the NFC is so heavy.
Yeah, the Super Bowl champion's coming out of the NFC. I have no doubt in my mind.
Unless it's the Chiefs and they actually are what they look like they are, and they come back and play it like if the Chiefs play like they're playing now, especially their defense in January, then they are very much a team to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't know how much stock to really put into that win over Vegas the way that they did, because they literally did it like a couple weeks before the same exact way, where they just beat up on Vegas. So I don't know if it's just they have their number, like they have Vegas's number. I don't know what it is. Vegas is obviously a bad team. They are the worst team in the AFC West, down there at the bottom of the division. But the way that they beat up on them, it is convincing. But I do want to see them do it against like the Thursday, and they're going to have a chance to do it against the Chargers, who are an up and down team for sure. They're not anywhere close to like a consistent AFC contender, but I want to see them do it against that. I would love to see them do it against, the Packers at full strength, because I don't trust that win with Jordan Love at quarterback. They barely won. Like that is more like what I'm concerned about, because when I look at the Chiefs, like the games that they've won recently, we had this discussion last week. I don't know what to make of them. They haven't been against good teams. And the last really good team they played, the Packers, they won, but they limped to a 7-13 victory when Jordan Love was at behind center for the Packers. If Aaron Rodgers is there, I assume it's like a 20 some odd, maybe even 30-13-ish victory for the Packers. Like, I just don't know if I can trust Kansas City against a good team. So maybe they can make it to the Super Bowl because the AFC is weak, and the best team they're going to face, I think, is going to be the Patriots in some fashion. I believe in the Colts, but that's just homerism right there. I do think the Colts are a dangerous team if they make the playoffs, but yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I can trust Kansas City. I really don't.
Well, before we get to week 15, which we will break it all down for you, bye weeks are over, Taylor.
Let's just say the Colts, they won their bye week because they are now in position.
Well,
and they control their own destiny.
So really, I mean, the Eagles did too. I mean, kind of watching Washington take an L there, that's big, and the Eagles, I mean, they still control their own destiny. But I mean, there's a couple teams at 6 and 7, so I can't complain with the bye weeks. Colts and the Eagles both made out over
Colts
the bye week.
In the playoffs as of right now, they're the 6th seed because they have that tiebreaker over the Buffalo and Cincinnati loss. So just gotta win. Just gotta win our games.
It's going to be tough, and it starts this week. Before we get to it, though, the current supply and demand challenges within the auto industry makes this a perfect time for you to go and get top dollar for your vehicle. And right now at Mohawk Honda, you can take advantage of the Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash offer. They will put cash in your hand for your vehicle the same day you come in, even if you don't buy from them. And that's a pretty sweet deal, especially for all you college grads or students that need a new ride or some extra cash. I can certainly feel you on that one. Mohawk Honda has consistently kept their lot fully stocked with hundreds of pre-owned vehicles, and their large inventory makes shopping fun as you browse through the many makes and models to choose from. And you can also check out their full selection online. So if you don't have time to go in but want to do your research before you do so, you have that option to check out what they have before you go in right there online. And stop in and say hi, though, to Greg Johnson, the assistant general manager, or Jake Hot Sauce Doyle, Louis the VIP man Morales, or one of the many helpful sales consultants there at Mohawk Honda. There's a vast selection of Honda certified pre-owned vehicles right now, so it is certainly time to take advantage of that Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash offer. Mohawk Honda in Glenville, where they always go out of their way to please you. And we have a full slate of week 15 games, Taylor. It's good to be back to a full slate, and it kicks off. Not only do we have football, but we have football on 4 days this week. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. NFL season, baby. Oh my goodness. When college football stops, there's more and more NFL, and I'm all about it. We kick off this week, Taylor, with a big divisional game. Kansas City and the Chargers. The Chargers still have a shot at the Chiefs. to win that division. And I'm not saying it's likely, but they still have a shot. A big start for them would be to upset the Chiefs at home on Thursday night. This is a big game. Chiefs offense seems, look, they seem to be waking up, right? I mean, they just put a 48 burger on the Raiders. The Chargers have looked better of late, really taking care of the Giants and taking care of the Bengals. Now, granted, the Giants, I get it, but the Chargers have looked better of late. So two teams pointed in the right direction. Both are in the playoffs if it were to start today. This is a big game, Taylor, but I mean, look, if we really think the Chiefs are who we think they are and they're turning the corner, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs should go into Los Angeles and win this football game, right?
Yeah. If the Chiefs are who you say they are, if the Chiefs are who a lot in the media are trying to make them out to be, I'm still skeptical. Like I said, I laid it out earlier that I'm still skeptical. But this will go a long way. If they win this game convincingly, then yeah, I'm gonna be pointed in the direction of them being easily the best team in the AFC, the team that's gonna make it to the Super Bowl, if all things are considered.
Well, when you look at teams that are really hurting right now, and COVID is running rampant right now, and that's a whole other frustrating part. Like I think some of these protocols are a little too ridiculous, especially with vaccinated players with their protocols. But that's going to be that's a whole other discussion for a whole other day. But I think the Chiefs have been pretty good with not getting too banged up, not getting into any COVID outbreaks, knock on wood. And they seem to be getting healthier as teams are getting less healthy, right? I mean, you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. The offense is starting to get back into a rhythm. The defense is playing much better as the colder months are coming and the playoff push is real. The Chargers had a little bit of a COVID issue last week, but they survived it, playing the Giants. They should be getting Keenan Allen back. There's a little question mark on Eckler's expected to play, but there's a little question mark on Eckler's health. So the Chargers are battling a couple things there. But my gut said, look, the Chiefs, I feel like they're turning the right corner at the time. Let's get right to it. I'm taking the Chiefs in this one.
Well, it really comes down to it. If the Chiefs are who you and other people in the media are saying, like, that they are this team, that they are that it's not the Packers game that I should be looking at. It's the Raiders game that they just played where they put up nearly 50 and have had one of the best scoring defenses in the league. I think since week 6 they are the highest scoring defense in the league. But yeah, if this is what they are, where they're not as explosive on offense, they can be for sure, but they're not as explosive, and they rely on defense and ball control, running the ball, trying to keep not turning the ball over as much as they were. Which, I mean, much maligned as Patrick Mahomes has been, it has been a lot of bouncing off the hands of his receivers, which is a fixable thing. Like, that's not him. That's not a bad decision. That's just maybe a little bit harder of a throw and the receivers not being ready, mentally ready to catch it. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs should win this game if they are who we think they are. If they are the team that is going to take over control of this AFC and really prove that, once again, they are the best, then this should be a game that they win. And Chargers are, inconsistent as all hell, and it's hard to predict week to week. But I'll go Chiefs.
Let's go to the Saturday slate of games. There's 2 this coming Saturday, Taylor, including your Colts. We'll get there into a second. But the first game on Saturday is Vegas and Cleveland. And look, Vegas is coming off its worst loss of the season, 48-3 against Kansas City. It seems like they have finally hit that wall. Cleveland coming off a big divisional win, albeit against Tyler Huntley and the Ravens, not Lamar Jackson. But Cleveland, they're somehow just chugging along, man. I mean, Cleveland, every time we want to say Cleveland's done, that defense is playing really well, led by Myles Garrett, David Clowney. They're running the football. Now that Chubb is back, they lost Kareem Hunt again, but that we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But this team, Baker's playing well enough. Not good, but well enough. The state of the Raiders right now, I can't trust them. I'm going to go Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you look at the Raiders' last couple games, I mean, it's been a lot of losses. Hard loss to the Chiefs, loss to the Washington Redskins, the Washington football team.
Football team to you, sir.
I take out that Cowboys win on Thanksgiving because it was weird, and Cowboys were missing some pieces, and even then they still barely beat them. Lost to the Bengals, another loss to the Chiefs, another beatdown from the Chiefs, lost to the Giants, and then going back to when they beat the Eagles, which is their best win in the last 9 games. So Raiders are going down. Raiders are in a downward spiral. It looks to me that they're a downward trajectory. Browns, can't really trust them all that much, but they were able to beat the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens, so you give them credit there. If their running game is healthy, then they always have a shot, because as we discussed earlier, especially when it gets down to these times where the weather is an issue sometimes. They are playing in Cleveland. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I'm going to go Browns. I'm going to trust the running game over whatever the Raiders are putting out.
Well, speaking of running game, let's get to the Patriots and the Colts. I mean, this game, there might be about 25 combined passing plays the entire game. Between Jonathan Taylor and what the Patriots do to limit what Mac Jones does. This is going to be a good game. I mean, the Colts are trying to push for that playoff spot. The Patriots, you're still trying to figure out, are they legit or not Super Bowl contenders? I'm on the boat of them not, but I'm also not a huge believer in the Colts long term. I have a hard time picking the Colts in this one the way the Patriots are playing, though. I am gonna go, and I know what you're picking. That's why I'm making my pick first, because we already know what you're making. I'll let you state your case.
No way.
But I'm gonna just to be the guy. But no, my gut says the Patriots are going to win this one. Carson Wentz is going to make some ill-advised primetime turnovers, and it's just going to be the same song, different year. And
for those who are not watching the YouTube, I was heavily rolling my eyes, but I get where you're coming from, and maybe even deep down in
I'm right.
the reaches of my mind, brain, and heart, should I probably pick the Patriots? Probably, because especially me, I just said like 2 weeks ago that I thought that they're the best team in the AFC, and I still believe that they're up there and that they could be. I think their defense is the best in the AFC, maybe the best in the entire league. That being said,
however,
this is
you're
a
Colts
rivalry
fan,
game,
and you're gonna pick.
because the
No,
Colts,
it's not.
Colts and the Patriots have a storied rivalry going back to Tom Brady versus Peyton
They have
Manning.
a storied history. Peyton Manning is retired. Tom Brady is in Tampa. It's not a rivalry.
But we also were the ones that
the Colts and the Pats are not a rivalry.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. As far as out-of-division rivals can go, they are. It's just a fact. All Colts fans look forward to the Patriots. Look forward to it, kind of. They want to beat them, but often we didn't when we didn't have Peyton Manning.
I guess when you're in the AFC South, when you're in the AFC South, you have to grasp for straws somehow. So
who's going to be our rival in the AFC South?
That's my point.
So you have Titans, the Texans, the Jaguars. No,
like the Patriots are looking down at you like some unwanted redheaded stepbrother that just won't stop, and you're like, you're our rival, and the Patriots like, no, we're not.
Think of the Eagles. They probably think of the same way. That's obviously a rivalry, but no.
Eagles and Downs is one of the most storied.
Patriots circle it too.
How does that
Patriots
compare?
Circle it too. They're not, because they're in division, but I'm not talking division. I'm talking out of division.
Are you done explaining?
You know that? No, I'm not done explaining. I haven't even started. So shut the fuck up and sit down. All right?
I am sitting down.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for you to finish.
You hear the Otis in the back? He's telling you to shut up.
I'm waiting to get to an actual rivalry game, and here you are talking Colts and Patriots. We have a rivalry game coming up. Can you speak why you think the Colts are going to win?
And the Browns?
No. Would you let talk about the Colts so we could get to it?
Okay.
Fuck.
Well, then maybe you should just let me talk and not prick every freaking thing I say. This rivalry game is going to be it's going to be really heated, and the Colts have led by 10 or more points in 10 straight games. They've only gone 7-3 in those stretches. They probably should have gone 10-0 in those stretches, but they've given up a lot of key plays at key times where Carson makes a bad mistake, and that worries me a ton when they're playing a Bill Belichick led defense that is pretty good at making quarterbacks make mistakes. But I trust that we rely on the run game and we shove it down their throats as much as humanly possible. Our run defense is top 10, I believe, in the league, so I'm not too worried about that in terms of being able to stop them, unlike the Bills. I think that we'll be able to slow them down enough and try to make Mac Jones do what he can, which hopefully is not much. So I think we have as good a chance as anyone. I mean, we're hammering this. If you run the ball, you have as good a chance as anyone to win a game. If you can control the line of scrimmage on both sides. And that's what the Colts look to do. They have a pretty good run defense and a very good rushing attack. And I think that they can do this. Plus, they have to. They have to win a couple of these games. The next two games, obviously, are them and the Cardinals. Two playoff teams, two head of the conference teams. It's going to be rough. It's going to be hard. But they have to win at least one, if not both of these games. So I'm going to pick the Colts.
Dallas and the Giants. An actual rivalry game. Dallas heads
Dallas
to
and the Giants. Who cares about Dallas and the Giants? No one.
Look, I hate both of them, but it's a rivalry game. That's a rivalry.
What makes it a rivalry? That they play a lot?
They're division rivals.
So they play a lot. That's what you just said, is that they're division rivals. So they're in divisions, so they play a lot. So it's a rivalry. Not that either one of them has ever been good or at the same
because
time.
I'm not going to sit here and say the Eagles and Washington is a rivalry. Eagles, Dallas, Giants. And then Washington's like that unwanted, stepchild that is just there because everybody has to have that team. But those three are rivals. That's a Cowboys rivalry.
Literally were when
Packers and Bears are a rivalry.
They said it was a rivalry. Every team that plays each other twice a year can't be a rivalry.
Tom Brady and Peyton Manning were a rivalry. The Patriots and the Colts are not.
That makes no sense. Just because you changed
no one gave a shit about the Colts after Peyton Manning left when it was Tom Brady versus Peyton. Are you going to say the Patriots and the Broncos are a rivalry?
No.
Okay then.
But why wouldn't you? But why wouldn't you? If it was just about the player moving teams. So when the Peyton Manning went to the Broncos, why didn't the Broncos and Patriots become a rivalry?
It wasn't. The rivalry was about Peyton and Tom.
No, it wasn't just about.
Yes, it was.
Also, we literally told them the Colts game was the reason that the Deflategate happened, and so you don't think that they're salty about that?
That doesn't make it a rivalry.
What makes it a rivalry? The fact that they play twice a year, because that's the only freaking thing that you said.
You have to beat the Patriots for it to be a rivalry. Okay.
See that's cutting. That's cutting right there. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Well, just because we couldn't do it doesn't mean that we weren't heartbroken.
You didn't do it.
Happened.
You didn't do it.
It's not a rivalry. We didn't cry after every loss.
Cowboys, Giants. Giants are really bad. Joe Judge might be out the door.
No, I'm done. Just keep going. We try to keep this under an hour. It's 38 minutes right now. We need to move.
Giants are on the verge of firing Dave Gettleman. Joe Judge possibly out the door as well. This is going to be another Mike Glennon game as Daniel Jones has not been cleared yet to play. As much as I don't like how Dallas has played, Giants are just too bad right now. Dallas is going to win.
Yeah, of course. I don't even want to talk about it. Cowboys defense has been good-ish, especially in the first half at least of that Washington game. Micah Parsons, he was a good pick. I know you know all about Micah.
I was about to say, he is one unbelievable young prospect. He's not even a prospect anymore. He really is a budding superstar in the NFL. It just sucks to see that he's on Dallas. But you just knew, right? Right from the moment he stepped on the field his freshman year at Penn State, you just knew. It was kind of like Saquon Barkley. He just kind of had that like feel of pure dominance that he knows he's the best player on the field. And he's just proven it week in and week out. I mean, he has 6 straight games now with at least a sack. I mean, he is himself carrying that Dallas defense, and it has been fun to watch just seeing him quickly become one of the better players in the league. I don't think there's much to talk about in this next one. It might be hard to pick a winner, though. Houston and Jacksonville.
Oh God.
Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a passing touchdown in the last 4 games. The Jaguars haven't gotten over 20 points this season, and Houston is starting Davis Mills. Urban Meyer is still somehow the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I just want to, before we go too far, I just want to, for the fun of it, I was playing Madden and I was like, I'm gonna start a franchise. Let me pick a bad team. I picked the Jaguars. It's been a roller coaster. The first week I threw like 5 touchdowns. The next week 7 interceptions. It's been quite the roller coaster. Just want to put that out there.
Is Lawrence your QB, or did you do like so you're using?
No, I'm actually using like Lawrence as the QB. That's all I'm controlling really. I'm not doing the defense or anything. I'm just doing like Lawrence in the offense.
Gotcha.
Fuck it.
I think you could do a better job than Urban Meyer.
Hey, I think I'm like 7-3 at this point. So yeah, I'm definitely doing better than him.
This is just a horrible game. Are they going to actually put this on TV in any market? Like, unless you have Sunday Ticket, are you going to be able to see this game? Like, I truly wonder if Houston and Jacksonville even want to see this game.
I think they will in Houston and Jacksonville.
Do they?
Yes. I mean, people still watch Jets games. They play them here. So, I mean.
Not really. My buddy who's a Jets fan doesn't even watch them. He's a diehard Jets fan.
I mean, we have a whole home for it over here on 104. Sorry.
That what place? I never even heard of it.
The home for the Jets. Fitting, right?
Yeah. Say less. We do have to pick a winner of this game, though. Houston, Jacksonville.
Texans, because they're slightly worse, slightly better, maybe than the Jacksonville.
All right, heads. I pick Houston. Tails.
You pick.
I pick the
Jacksonville,
Jags,
and I'll pick the opposite. Just be fun.
Okay.
Just be fun.
I get Jacksonville. You get Houston.
All right, let's go. Let's put money on it. Make it fun.
Let's not. Let's not. I don't want to put my money up to the fate of Houston and Jacksonville.
All the marbles, all the schmeckles that we have are life savings on this game.
That's terrifying. Tennessee at Pittsburgh. The Titans are, look, they shut out Jacksonville. So, we just got done shitting on Jacksonville for the past 5 minutes. But, Tennessee's still hanging around, too. They're 9-4. They're at the top. At Pittsburgh, man, does Pittsburgh look bad. Really bad. Tennessee is kind of stabilizing a little bit. Like, their defense is still good. They figured out something with Deontay Foreman in the backfield. Julio Jones is back now. He's not, the Julio Jones that you all know and love, but he's a presence. And I think the Titans are stabilized enough. Like, we're like Pittsburgh. If you get smacked around by Minnesota, something's wrong. Okay. I'm going Tennessee on the road.
Yeah. I'm leaning Tennessee too. Steelers are not good. Like, they're really not. They have a decent defense, and sometimes, when Big Ben has like an extra coffee in the morning or something, he has a little more pep in his step. He can maybe throw the ball a little farther, but and
then Chase Claypool will celebrate when the clock is ticking down. So
Oh my God. What a fool. And then did you see the post game afterwards where he tried to blame it on everyone else but take accountability for
I was doing my thing.
He was like, I did my thing. And then he was like, yeah, well, maybe if you didn't and just ran and gave it to the umpire.
Maybe if you didn't do your thing.
Yeah. And just handed the ball as quickly as you possibly could to the referee and not make him walk to you. Then maybe you could have, saved a couple seconds. Like, I just did my thing. It was so stupid. It was like, could you just not do your thing when there's 30 seconds left in the game? Maybe. Whatever.
That was bad. And I like Claypool too.
I like Claypool as a player, but I just didn't know that he was such a bonehead.
I mean,
I'm
he went
going
to Notre
Titans.
Dame, so.
I'm going with Titans as well.
Jets at Dolphins. Dolphins are playing some good football, Taylor. Dolphins have really woken up. I don't think they'll crush the Jets because I think this is kind of not that the Jets are going to compete. I think this is kind of like one of those Dolphins games where it's going to be ugly. It's going to be like 13-9. Dolphins are going to win, but honestly, it has
I don't even know, man. I have a feeling that this is going to be a brutal for the Jets. I think Miami has found something on defense, and their offense has been coming alive as of late. Waddle.
Watch out for the fighting Tuas, baby.
Yeah, Waddle and Gaskin. I mean, I was talking to someone who was playing. So this is a fun one. So he's got Dak Prescott. It's Eric. I'll tell you. It's my fiance Eric. He has Dak Prescott, but like Dak hasn't been playing amazing, and he has Tua who's playing the Jets, and I'm like, it's
Dak plays the Giants.
Yeah, that is true. But I don't know. I don't know.
No,
I was
I play you.
Pause. Like
when it comes playoff times, you took Dak Prescott to be your starting quarterback. In playoff time, you're gonna play Tua against the Jets.
It's the Jets. It's the Jets.
It's the Giants.
You're play Tua. Yeah, but if there's ever a time you're gonna play Tua, it's when he's been hot right now. He's been hot the last couple of games.
I don't know, man. I would be sick to my stuff. I don't know. I'd rather.
I feel good at starting anyone against the Jets. Let's be honest. I think it's going to be a blowout, honestly, because the defense has been playing well. They're going to pressure hard, and they're going to force turnovers. The only thing would be are they going to run the ball or are they going to throw the ball? I don't know. I think that Miami wins this handily.
Let's go to the Eagles and the Washington football team. Eagles back from the bye at home against Washington, and it's expected that Taylor Heineke will play, but if not, it will be Kyle Allen. I don't think it matters. Washington is kind of, slowly bleeding out with all the injuries that they are getting, and the Eagles are playing some damn good football, have won 5 of 6, and Jalen Hurts is expected to be back. Jason Kelce and Miles Sanders will be back as well. Eagles at home. Eagles by a lot. Go Birds.
I'll pick Eagles. I don't know by a lot. I mean, you glossed over that 5-6, but that one loss was an ugly loss to the Giants. But
everybody has bad losses.
It's still been playing well.
Everybody has bad losses.
Giants, the Giants. Such a bad loss. Eagles over Washington. Go Birds. Oh, Bryce,
you want to talk about your Colts?
Through this and slap. Hey, I don't have a bad loss like that. Name one. Name the bad loss the Colts have.
I don't know because I don't care about mediocre
teams.
They're
all good losses because they should have won all the games that they lost. All of them.
Yeah, so should have the Eagles. I mean, come on.
Sort of the game that Carson Wentz got hurt. Maybe that game, but
Carson Wentz got hurt. Which game was that?
He's only been hurt in one game, and that's why you're getting a first-round pick. So shut up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's played like 99% of the snaps. He played on 2 sprained ankles for you, for the cause.
He didn't do it for me.
No, obviously he didn't do it for you. I'm being sarcastic. He didn't do it for the Eagles, obviously. He did it because we have no backup quarterback and we had no fucking choice. What are we going to do? Trot out Sam Eller? We might as well just forfeit the game.
Hey, man. Those Texas products, they're something special.
Arizona, one throw in the season, and it's an interception. So
there you go. And Vince Young is their claim to fame. Arizona at Detroit. I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, this is going to be a brutal. Yeah, Arizona by a lot, like seriously by a lot.
Yeah, that's going to be bad. Carolina at Buffalo. Buffalo. I'm going to pick Buffalo to win this game, but it's not because of Buffalo. It's because of how bad Carolina is playing right now. Cam looks horrible. Mm-hmm. They're going to be rotating in Cam and PJ Walker. I mean, ew.
Any team that has a quarterback rotation, no. If you have a quarterback rotation, it means you don't have a quarterback. And if you don't have a quarterback, you are a bad.
You're not winning. You're not winning games in the NFL if you don't have a quarterback.
No, unless you're playing another team that doesn't have a quarterback.
Cincinnati at Denver. I believe Cincinnati is trying to make its final push for the playoffs. Joe Burrow, this Bengals team is played a little better last week. Denver coming off an emotional win against Detroit with everything going on with Demaryius Thomas and everything out there. Mm-hmm. But this is still a Denver team that when they face good offenses, they typically struggle because their offense is not meant to put up a lot of points. Bengals offense, if anything, is explosive. Broncos are not. So if you get Denver out of their game, they're not really going to come back. I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one.
I think this could be a really close game just because the Broncos do have
it screams close game. It screams close game when you think it shouldn't be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that the Bengals could struggle a little bit with that defense, but I do think that, I believed in the Bengals every single week, and even when I pick them and they lose to the Niners, it's still a close loss, and they should probably still win. The Chargers game was one that I was kind of blown away by how much they stretched out that lead. But when the Bengals are on, they're on, and I think that they're due for one of those games, even against the tough Broncos defense. So I'm going to go Bengals again. I probably will regret it because I feel like every time I pick the Bengals, I feel like they lose. But
we have 4 games left, Taylor, before we head to fantasy. Atlanta at
9 minutes before.
I know. Atlanta at San Francisco. Atlanta is bad. Yes, they beat Carolina. San Francisco is trying to push for the playoffs. This time of year, you kind of look at teams that have more to play for right now. San Francisco has more to play for. Matt Ryan is on the twilight of his career, to say the least. Atlanta's just not a very good football team. I'm going to go with San Francisco at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go with San Francisco too. Falcons are not very good, and San Francisco, like I just said, beat the Bengals, who I think highly of. I really do think highly of the Bengals. The Niners at home. Falcons have to go on the road for this one. Yeah, I think it's a Niners. It's a Niners victory here.
An NFC West divisional game, Seattle at LA. The Rams coming off a very impressive win when they're shorthanded against the Cardinals. Now, this game gets a little interesting, Taylor, because the Rams might have a lot of people out with COVID. They just put 9 more players on the COVID reserve list on Tuesday, including...
They closed their facility, too.
They closed down the facility. They sent everybody home. They did their game planning virtually today. Among them, Odell Beckham Jr., Jalen Ramsey obviously missed Monday night. He's still in protocol. They are missing a lot of starters. Seattle is not very good, though. Mm-hmm. The Rams were able to show up when they had to against Arizona. I feel like they'll do enough, even shorthanded against Seattle, though Russell Wilson looked better. And they might get some of these players back depending on what happens. I'm sure a lot of them are, and as Sean McVay said, a lot of them are vaccinated. So if this turns out, they can quick turn around, produce 2 negative COVID tests. It's early enough in the week. They should get at least some of these guys back. I'm going to go with the Rams.
I'm going to go with the Rams too, but I think it really comes down to the Seahawks. And if this Rashad Penny situation is real or not. Penny's been there for so long, it feels like, and he's just never really
2018 first rounder. He's been hurt.
Yeah, he's been hurt in and out of the lineup, and even when he's gotten chances, he hasn't really done much with them up until this last game where he was given the rock and given the rock.
And when Chris Carson's out for the year, and Alex Collins isn't doing anything, and you need to kind of take the pressure off Russell Wilson, why not?
Exactly.
In a lost year, why not give him a shot? See what you have in him.
That's what I mean, but it's been like 2018. You said you should know what you have with him. It's been 4 years, so
I know.
But if now he's finally getting a shot, if now he's finally ready to go, healthy, ready to do what he did last week. Granted, it's the Texans. Let's keep that in mind. The Texans let anyone run all over them. But I'm excited to see if they can use him and he'd be as successful or near as successful as he was. But I am going to take the Rams because the Rams just feel like the better team right now. COVID aside, you don't know how that's going to shake out. But since you said, a lot of them, almost all of them are vaccinated. So they hopefully will be back before and be able to play. I don't know what the what is it? Is it 2? I know what the NBA's is. I don't know what the NFL
They
is.
have to produce 2 negative COVID tests in 24 hours.
Okay, yeah, same as the NBA. So, yeah. Also, shout out to Steph Curry. He just became the all-time leader in threes. He just passed Ray Allen just a second ago.
There you go. Didn't do it against the Sixers.
No, he tried. He's been trying for like ESPN's been hyping it. Like, is he gonna? He only has to hit 10. He only has to hit 14. He only has to hit 9.
Well, that's ESPN. They have nothing else better to talk about. Green Bay at Baltimore. Baltimore is in a state of affairs. Now you don't know if the expectation is Lamar will be back. But they're not playing very well even with Lamar right now. Green Bay is on a warpath. I've been saying it for a couple weeks now, Taylor. Green Bay, in my opinion, I mean, they were my pick to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. I firmly am confident that they are going to be the NFC's representative and could even go and win this thing at this point. The Packers are for real. They're going to beat the Ravens, and it's going to be a blowout, especially if Tyler Huntley's in at quarterback.
Yeah, if Tyler Huntley's in the quarterback, it's almost given that it's going to be a blowout. But it feels like the Packers' last dance, doesn't it? Because, with Aaron Rodgers set to leave soon, maybe Devontae Adams going with him. Like, this is the last dance. This is win this year, or you get nothing out of you get one Super Bowl out of the entire Aaron Rodgers era. And to have one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, especially in terms of talent, maybe one of the most talented ever, and only come out with one Super Bowl, just not good enough. So they're gonna push. They're gonna push, and they seem like they're one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. So yeah, I think they'll beat the Ravens, especially if Lamar's not there. It's not even a question.
One final game, Taylor. It's the Sunday night, or no, 2. Oh, I'm sorry. We have 5. I didn't even look at the Monday night game. We have 2 games left. Sunday night first, New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Look, Taysom Hill and the Saints were, admirable in beating the very tough task of the New York Jets. But however, now they play a real football team, and that would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. Then no, there's no way I'm taking the Saints at this one.
I'm not going to take the Saints, but the only argument you can have is that they played that then the game they had earlier. And granted, that was on the road. That was in New Orleans. This is not in New Orleans. This is in Tampa Bay. So I lean the Bucks, but the Saints did take it to them last game, but I don't think that happens twice.
Monday Night Football, the Vikings at the Bears. This game just is gross.
Yeah.
So gross.
How I feel about this game.
The Bears are just bad. I'm sorry. The Bears are just too bad. Going the Vikings.
You know what? Screw it. Like, another primetime game for Kirk Cousins.
I hope you're right, by this would help the Eagles, so I hope you're right.
Who thinks he can do it twice in a row? I don't. I'm taking Chicago. Justin Fields comes out and he's gonna showcase what he can do and the future of the Bears going forward once they get rid of Matt Nagy and they have an actual ability to
a real NFL head coach. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yes, with a quarterback who is dynamic. So I think he shows out tonight, and on Monday, I should say. And I think Chicago beats them because the Vikings, they're not very good either.
I hope you're right because that would help the Eagles tremendously. Before we head to fantasy, I do want to remind everybody that we are also sponsored by Saving Face Barbershop up in Saratoga Springs. I'm trying to hold off till closer to Christmas, and because then we have a wedding on New Year's Eve to go to, so I just feel like that's a good time. But yeah, definitely get your cuts in. Check out Jeremiah and the guys up at Saving Face Barbershop up in Saratoga Springs. Like I said, off exit 13, and they have all the awesome, TVs, comfortable chairs. They have a really cool atmosphere up there. You're really going to enjoy yourself, and they have a bunch of different styles and a bunch of different offers to present to you. That's close face shave. They have at-home services as well. They have senior, military, and youth discounts. They have different. They have a bunch of different stuff. I believe they even have like a hour and 50 or hour and a half $100 like whole design thing that they got going on now. It's really awesome. They're really good guys, and they have great opportunities and great offers there. So go check them out. You could give them a call. You could go online and book your appointment as well. You could see whatever's available. You can go through your calendar, whatever works, and pick your barber, show up, and you'll be in and out looking better than ever. I want to talk about fantasy, though. I really, really want to talk about this fantasy. Oh, man.
We're not going to make it to under an hour.
That's okay. We just hit an hour. I am public enemy number 1 in the Gozilla playoffs, and I love it. I love it. Do you know why? Because, first off, I had the gripe, and I'll say it, and I said it on the show, and obviously it took wind throughout the league, and I'm fine with it. I want it to take wind throughout the league. That I had an issue with the playoffs starting last week, and the reason of that being is like 3 very important players on my team had buys. I've never had and Gaz's reasoning, I understand, right? It's a cool idea. Like everybody plays everybody once. However, and I won, so I'm still chugging along. I'm just too good. That's fine. But what my problem was I didn't have QB1, which is Jalen Hurts. I didn't have my backup tight end. By the way, Hawkinson was out, so I didn't have my backup tight end. And Darrell Henderson was on COVID, so I had to flex Michael Gallup. Luckily, he did something. So this got wind. Obviously, Goss has the fantasy football podcast with Chet and Kyle, and it's a good show, and they give you great advice, and I definitely strongly recommend listening to them because it's a good show. However, last week they came out hot to me and Dan. By the way, they went after Dan pretty hard too. Me and Dan were talking about. But I mean, they were talking about, I don't understand his gripe. He the people that are on his buys, he's not even playing anyway. Excuse me. I made the playoffs based on the fact that I drafted Jalen Hurts in the 8th round and he's QB1. I need my backup tight end because Hawkinson, they were like, oh, yes, Hawkins. Well, he was like, gosh, who's his actual tight end? And Gus was like, it's Hawkinson. Oh, he's fine. Bullshit. Hawkinson was never going to play last week. He never did. I guess he's on a bye. So guess what? I have to find a tight end. I streamed Austin Hooper. Worked out. Yep. Then they're like, oh, well, he wouldn't even be started. Look at those running backs. Aaron Jones, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Henderson. He's not going to start Miles Sanders. Darrell Henderson's on the COVID list. Miles Sanders is part of the league's best rushing attack. The Eagles average 162 rushing yards a game. Maybe, just maybe, I want the running back that's a part of that starting in my fantasy league. And guys is like, he's an Eagles fan, by the way. Oh, that makes sense. What? I only drafted Jalen Hurts. I picked up Miles Sanders. Somebody dropped him. I picked him up. And then I have the Eagles defense. Because I always have 2 defenses. I've been rotating the Packers and the Eagles all year. That's just what I've done. What do you mean? That's what it comes to. Oh, that makes sense. Why? Because I took Jalen Hurts in the 8th round? Give me a break. Well, I'm coming after you, Chet. I beat you in the last week of the season. I'm coming after you hard again, and I can't wait to win this league, even through all the adversity.
To be fair,
I'm public enemy number 1. And I love it.
To be fair, it's not like at the beginning of the year, guys knew that Hawkinson and Darrell Henderson would have been.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
Last week.
That's not the point. You should have your full roster available to you come playoff time.
Yeah, but wait, are we gonna have to? Are you gonna have to play week? What's the last week? 7? No, it's 18, right? Is that we're going 18 games, 18 weeks?
No, the championship's next week. It's week 16.
Is it next week? Okay. I was just wondering because I don't know if it was a situation where they were trying to avoid, playing on the last
No,
week.
the reason it stayed like that, Goss was saying, is because there's 14 teams in the league and everybody plays each other once, which I get.
Mm-hmm.
However, as cool of an idea as it is, it's also not great to not have your full team when you
I also
built
don't
your
care
team.
about playing everyone once. Like if there's someone I don't play, I'm just like, okay,
Correct.
cool.
I don't even the league that I'm a commissioner of. I don't even look at the schedule. It auto generates. I don't give a shit. We just added another game this year. It's weeks 15,
But yeah,
16,
but like
and
I
17.
said last week, I don't know why, but the other Yahoo one I'm in was the same way. Like it didn't affect me because I had to buy the first round buy. So I didn't have to worry about the fact that I couldn't start Hurts because I do have Hurts in that league.
But I mean,
yeah,
you like
had the first round buy, so
it's one thing to lose in the play. Like sometimes in the playoffs, injuries happen, right? And you get beat. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if I don't have my full squad available to me, the one that I built and worked up all year to get to the 2 seed, to not have them available in the first round of the playoffs, it's pretty shitty. It's pretty shitty. And I mean, I won, so
quit your bitching. But
no, it's not the point. It's not the point. I'm coming after you, Chet. I am.
You got to make it through Woods first.
Yeah, really not that concerned.
He didn't even draft his first 4 picks because he couldn't pull it up on Yahoo fast enough. If he beats you, it's gonna be
not concerned. Not concerned. Speaking of though, let's do the fan. Hey guys, I love you to death. I really do. And this league has been really fun. Just frustrating.
I'm not drafting freaking stupid Christian McCaffrey anymore. I'm done.
That was bad. That was bad. But as the representative of Sportz with a Z and a T, I'm still aiming to bring us a 3rd straight championship.
I'm trying to be happy for you.
You have your other leagues. Yeah,
I know, but you know what's gonna happen is I get this first round bye, and then I'm probably gonna fucking lose the first round I play. That's just how it goes. Probably. And also in the other league that I have money on, I'm trying to claw my way into the playoffs. I thought that last week was the last week, but we are playing this week as well. The playoffs haven't started, so yeah, that league, I don't know if we're going to be playing on the last week of the actual season, but whatever. I'm trying to get into that, and it's like I told you before, that everyone in that other division is making it except for the bottom, and then it's me and this one guy fighting for the last spot, and also a first round bye because the winner of the other division gets a bye. So I'm fighting for a bye at 7-6. Actually, I think we both lost. So we're both 7-7. Fighting for a first round bye. I needed to win. He needed to lose. We both lost. So again, I need to win. He needs to lose. So it sucks, but we're clawing our way, and neither of us want to win it apparently. But that's how that one's going.
Fantasy studs and duds. Do you have a stud for me this week?
Yeah, I think this one's a pretty obvious one. You should definitely start James Conner, because he's been a world beater in and of himself with the Cardinals.
With him getting an MRI on his ankle this week. Yeah,
did he?
You should. Yeah. Oh yeah. He hurt his ankle in the last play of the game. He might not play.
I didn't see that. Well, I mean, whoever plays for I don't care who plays.
Edmonds will be back. So
yeah, okay. Whatever running back is starting for the Arizona Cardinals, play them, because Arizona Cardinals have proved that they can run the ball against just about anyone. Even at goal line stands, even at the goal line, Connor is able to get 2 touchdowns last week, even though he didn't have a ton of yardage. But also they're playing Detroit. So let's be real here. They're going to put up a ton of points. And I think the running game is going to be heavily involved in that attack. But yeah, I'm going with whatever Cardinals running back is starting. Jesus Christ. What's your stud?
I am going to go with Myles Gaskin against the Jets. This Dolphins offense has been playing much better of late, and they have been feeding Gaskin a little more and getting him more involved. Shocker, Dolphins offense playing better when they're getting Myles Gaskin involved. Salvon Ahmed has been sprinkled in. Malcolm Brown might be back. I don't think it matters. Philip Lindsay is on the COVID list. This is Myles Gaskin's backfield, and the Jets give up the most fantasy points to running backs in all of football. Put 2 and 2 together, people. Let's go to duds this week, and there's a lot of bust matchups out there. However, who are you completely avoiding this week? Because there's a couple people that you can think of.
Yeah. So for this one, it was pretty simple for me. I'm gonna just go ahead and avoid all of my Giants starters. Not even Saquon. I know that, again, we talked about sitting him a couple weeks ago. The fact that, you probably drafted him in the first round. Maybe if he dropped to the high second round, maybe you got him there. But let's be real here. He is a shell of what he was. Combine that with how badly this Giants team is. Their offensive line is trash. They're going to be starting Mike Glennon again in all likelihood. And even if they had Daniel Jones, I still wouldn't feel great about it. And this Cowboys defense is balling, at least for the first half of that game against Washington. They were, forcing turnovers. Antonio Gibson fumbled. They're getting picks. They're getting sacks. They're just really pestering the offense. So I really don't think that the Giants are going to be able to move anything. So if you have anyone who can plug in, like a Myles Gaskin or pick up the Edmonds if he's available, if someone dropped him stupidly, or whoever, put them in place of Saquon. But I also don't like the pass catchers because, they've got a ball hawking defense. You got Diggs out there, and you're going to have Mike Glennon thrown to the wide receivers. So I just don't trust anything about the Giants offense right now. So I wouldn't even start Galladay or Shepard or any of them.
DK Metcalf. It's become and that is going to be hard for DK Metcalf owners to hear, but he has become a true non-factor in this passing game. He has failed to surpass 60 yards or even score a touchdown in each of Seattle's last 5 games. He's going to be facing Jalen Ramsey. He has Jalen Ramsey going up against him this week, assuming he's back from COVID. Since the Week 9 bye, Taylor, DK Metcalf in a half-point PPR league, 4, 5, 1, 8, and 6 points. This is a wide receiver you probably took in the second round. So it's going to be hard for you to bench him. I understand that. However, there's going to be better options. And if the rested Jalen Ramsey is on him, the non-factor is going to continue. And I would just, you gotta look at, at this point with the likes, and it applies to Saquon Barkley too, to your point. Like, I know you drafted these guys early. I have the problem with Allen Robinson. I mean, he's on my bench and he's not starting.
I'm going to throw out another name for you that you might want to think about. Terry McLaurin. I have him in multiple leagues, and I don't know if I'm starting him against a tough Eagles defense.
Darius Slay.
He might not play because of the concussion. Might not matter anyway.
But if he does, Darius Slay,
he just put up 0 points against the Cowboys.
Well, Darius Slay has given up 3 receptions over the last 5 weeks.
Yeah. I just don't think Taylor Heineke is a good enough quarterback. Like, it's sad to me because I do think Terry McLaurin is a top 5 to 10, solidly top 10, maybe even top 5 wide receiver. He just can't showcase it enough because he just doesn't have a quarterback that can get him the ball. It sucks.
I also don't like, I mean, if you were talking wide receivers to fade, as good as Michael Pittman has been, the way the game flow of that game is going to be,
definitely not.
I think, with them running the ball, and just the lack of opportunities there, plus the matchup is brutal for Pittman against J.C. Jackson. Mm-hmm. The focus will take him away from Carson. I think this is going to be kind of like that check down game to Carson. I look at the tight ends, guys like Jack Doyle or something like that with the
even
Colts.
More like Cox might be able to get playing.
I would not look Michael Pittman's way this week at all.
Let's be honest. Any of the Colts players, it's going to be hard. The thing about Pittman is that, like, if the Colts do throw it, besides like the chunk plays like to Doolin who maybe sometimes they throw deep, and Pascal hasn't really been involved much. The little like interior stuff or outside stuff, that's gonna go to Pittman, because I just like T.Y. Hilton is not himself. He hasn't been involved in the offense really at all. So if there's any throwing being done, it's going to be the Pittman. But let's be honest, they're going to try to run it first, and if that doesn't work, which Bill Belichick's probably going to try to stop the run, because that's the best thing about them, and that's what you do. If you're Bill Belichick, you take away their best thing. So honestly, they might have to throw it a lot more than you might think, and Pittman might be involved. I'm not saying you should start him, because he still might not do much, but just keep that in mind. I mean, I'm not starting any Colts wide receivers. The only Colt you really should be starting in the playoffs soundly is probably Jonathan Taylor, because he'll get his.
Absolutely.
Even against the Bucs, he was able to get 83 yards and a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so that will do it for another episode of Sports with a Z and a T. Obviously, as we get closer to the college football playoff, we will start talking college football once again. But everybody, good luck in your first round of, unless you're in the Gozilla Media League, first round of the fantasy football playoffs. And if you're sitting at home, sorry, better luck next year.
We're still trying to make the playoffs in that one league. Like, it's still up. We're not in the playoffs. And I'm still trying to, we're both 7-7, just trying to claw our way back in.
That's brutal.
For a first round bye. Like, if we win the division, we get a bye. So if I win and get in, I have a bye. It's the only way I can get in.
Good luck to your Colts, Taylor. Good luck to my Birds. And obviously, it's going to be a jam-packed weekend full of football. Cannot wait. We will start to get to the NBA probably after the holidays, just because, we do have, and I don't even know if it's going to be immediately after the holidays, because we don't want to go really longer than we do. We have the NFL and the NFL playoffs to talk about, the college football playoff to talk about, and then we'll have a long, long time to talk NBA, right? Because we might not even
worried about it.
Because we might not even have baseball to talk about, because God knows when that'll be back. And then,
don't worry about you NFL, you NBA fans. We're gonna get into it, and we're gonna go.
We promise,
because we're gonna have nothing else to talk about.
We promise we're going to go heavy to the NBA scene very, very soon. And then obviously, bracketology, March Madness will be coming. So good things are ahead for us here with Sports with a Z and a T. Obviously, episodes will be shorter once that happens. But we thank you guys for the support, especially during football season. It has been a fun year, and it's hard to believe that it's kind of winding down. We're already at week 15, which is really, really, really hard to believe. Time flies when you're having fun. Am I right? For Taylor, I am Bryce. We are Sports with a Z and a T. You can follow us on Twitter at Sports Podcast, and our Twitter accounts at ZBryce21 and at TLats. You can find our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And we are, like I said, presented by Gozilla Media, sponsored by Mohawk Honda, Johnstone Supply in Troy, and Saving Face Barbershop up in Saratoga Springs. Stay safe out there. Good luck in those fantasy. Oh, go ahead, Taylor.
Oh, sorry. Make sure you guys, rate, review, follow, do all this stuff, download, all those clicks. They all help us. And then tell your friends. Tell your friends if you like us. Just, word of mouth is another great way to get, the spread. Spread the love. Tell people about Sports with a Z and the T. If you like us. Even if you hate us, still do it.
Yeah, even if you hate us.
Tell your friends, tell your enemies. We don't care.
Those idiots. This one asshole's a Colts fan and thinks there's a rivalry between the Pats, and one can't stop talking about the Eagles.
Whatever.
All right, guys. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the football. Good luck in your playoffs, and we will catch you next week right here on Sports with a Z and a T.
See ya.